What's up, real MVPs? Ricky Widmer here, and welcome into another edition of MVP Sports Live, the Thursday edition for January 21st. I am joined, as I always am, with my beautiful co-host, Dave Oster.
Hey, everybody.
Dave, it's a Thursday. It's a great Thursday. It's a good Thursday to be alive. The first day of the post-Trump presidency, so we'll just bring that up every day of the next 4 years. But how's your day going so far?
You know, you gotta start the off right and drop a WPN in there.
You do.
Long time gone. Glad it's back.
Yeah, we haven't seen the WPN Nation in a while, but the What's Up Nation has returned, and it's good as their fearless leader that they're still loyal to the man that created their name many moons ago. What Ben said 5 years ago? 5 years ago it happened. Right. When we were 25, Dave. 26. No, well, he said 2015. So it'd be 6 years? When we were 25, Dave, we were not into the 30s. We were barely through the 20s.
Now we're clearly in the 30s.
Yeah, we are clearly feet in the 30s going, what do I do now? I'm in my 30s.
When we're supposed to be adults.
But we got a jam-packed show for today. Got some football and some basketball for you. Before we get into all of that, though, let's get the housekeeping out of the way. Number one, if you're not in the Discord channel, you're behind the eight ball. Join it right now. It's easy. Discord link down below. You can click that to get in, or exclamation Discord into Twitch chat. Get you into the Discord channel where we're having conversations every day. Greatest community on the internet today. You can support us if you want to at patreon.com/MVPvids. You can also throw us a Prime sub or a sub like Ben did today through a Prime Gaming sub. Amazon gives it to you, so why not throw it to us if you have not used it already and get rewarded for doing so, because you get the same perks as a bronze patron. We're always on Twitch, twitch.tv/MVPvids. We're on YouTube at MVP Sports. Today's show is also, first off, thank you to our Patreon sponsor, Pat Hill. Today's show is also sponsored by MANSCAPED, but we will talk about them later. Dave, the first thing we're talking about is football to start the show. And we talked earlier this week, we didn't go really into it, we mentioned it, that Phillip Rivers retired. He is no longer going to be a Colt next year. I threw the joke and you kind of like shot me a look of like, don't you dare say what you said, where I was like, too bad he won't be a Bear next year. Because I know how much you wanted Phillip Rivers.
When number 17 retires after 17 years, there's something special about that. Yeah, now he's got to aim for 17 kids.
Dude. Like,
he's already most of the way there.
17 kids? You got to field the baseball team, Dave. You need, 10 for the DH? Then you need about 9 pitchers in order to make that work. A little bit more than that if you want a full bullpen.
I believe he's got like 9 kids already.
He does have 9 kids. Yeah, he's almost there to that baseball team to field a little league team for his kids. But we're going to take a look at the team he left, the Colts. And, damn, I got a frog in my throat. I'm going to take a drink real quick.
Yeah, so those Colts, they went from basically one of the best quarterbacks of all time, Peyton Manning, to one of the best quarterbacks of all time in Andrew Luck prospects. Yeah. Unfortunately, he got the shit knocked out of him in a very short amount of time. Early retirement, year of, question marks, obviously landed with our boy Phillip Rivers to go with their phenomenal defense. Good run this year. Where do they go from here, Ricky?
Well, there's 3 ways they can go. And the first thing I want to throw out is to fact check you a little bit. You forgot the 1 year, Dave.
I skipped it.
The 1 year in between.
Where I right past
dude,
it, Ricky.
Dude, they had 3 legends, though. Curtis Painter, Dan Orlovsky, and Kerry Collins, Dave. How do you not give love to Kerry Collins, who started 3 games for the Colts that year before they got Andrew Luck? But there's there's a plethora of ways. There's basically 3 ways. The Colts can replace Phillip Rivers this season, and we're kind of going to talk at the beginning of the show of what's going to be the best route for them. The first one is easy, Dave. Just re-sign Jacoby Brissett. Like, that is the easiest one if you don't want to have to deal with trading or free agency. Re-signing Brissett. He is someone that's worked with Frank Reich in his years at Indy. He knows the system. He'd be familiar with it. However, is he the best option? Probably not. That's probably the last one on the list. That's where the other 2 come in. Do you trade for a quarterback? Do you go to free agency? There's a couple options in trade. There's more options in free agency Dave, I will ask you, if you are the Colts, first off, what are you doing? If you're the Colts right now, is trading your first option or is free agency your first option?
I would probably look to see what you could get in free agency before pulling the trigger on a trade. Mm-hmm. The problem is the timelines. The NFL does things different than the NBA. So you do have free agency first, and then you have the NFL draft. And with a lot of these quarterback names that we hear in potential trade situations, they're all with the assumption of draft picks will be exchanging hands. So I think that you do look and kick the can in free agency. And let's be honest, there's not a ton of great names out there. There are some names, though. It depends on what you're trying to do with this team. This is a team that did make a playoff run. They had a chance. Didn't work out great for them, but they had a chance. Do they need to go with a young guy? Do they try to rehab? Do they try to go for the steely veteran who can continue on and try to keep this team in contention and see if they can grow from there? Like, they got 3 different routes they can go.
For me, it's trade or bust. Like that.
Really? You're not even...
Well, the reason why is, let's look at the free agents. Like the ones that when I was looking today, some of them I'm going to throw out right away because like Jameis Winston, I don't even think hits the market because he's going to re-sign with the Saints.
I mean, he'll hit the market officially.
I don't think, well, they have a re-signing period before free agency. To where like I feel like he's going to get gobbled up in that re-signing period, not even hit free agency. I think the same happens to Mitch Trubisky, love it or hate it, it's going to happen. Like Nagy's coming back.
Like, Trubisky's battle we're never going to win because
But like those are 2 quarterbacks they can go for.
I think Winston might hit that because of the money that he could be looking for.
Good point. He could
after
be
last
for
season, more. Him coming into a playoff game off the bench cold, just. Dropping a touchdown in there, 1 pass, 1 touchdown. Pretty hard to argue with those stats.
Yeah, I mean, that is true. If he asks for too much, I don't know if the Saints pay him that much, but like those are the 2 guys I would put in the probably or maybe re-sign. Then there's 2 guys that I don't know if you even want to look at, but it's low on the list. Of Josh Rosen's a guy who I wouldn't even look at, but it doesn't matter. He's an RFA with the 49ers. So they kind of have that control to bring him back if they want to. And then it's the ERFA for Kyle Allen, which is even more interesting because I looked that up today. And ERFA is any player with fewer than 3 accrued seasons and an expired contract. If his original team, this would be the Washington football team, offers him a 1-year contract and the league minimum based on his credited seasons, the player cannot negotiate with other teams. So basically, if the football team is like, hey, we're going to offer you a 1-year deal at the minimum based on your years, he doesn't go anywhere. He's back with Washington. Yet again, what are they going to do? Besides that, your options are Dak Prescott, who's not hitting free agency. Don't even think about it. He's either going to sign a long-term deal with the Cowboys or he will be tagged by said Cowboys and then traded. I don't think he hits free agency. Then it's like what? Ryan Fitzpatrick, Tyrod Taylor, Andy Dalton, Cam Newton.
Fitzpatrick.
That would be the one I go to, but would you want Fitzpatrick over a Wentz, Watson, Darnold, or Stafford? That's my deal.
Different categories. Ricky Ryan Fitzpatrick, someone you can have for probably a couple $1 million. The other guys, let's see, Carson Wentz is $30 million. Deshaun Watson is $40 million. And Darnold is, I mean, he's still on his final year of his rookie deal, so it's not terrible.
Yeah.
But the cost could be terrible to get him. And then Matt Stafford, a lot of money as well. Some name you dropped off that list, weirdly, huh?
Yeah, I forgot about it earlier, and then I saw you add it right now. It's like, oh, fuck, how the fuck did I forget about
Yeah, I mean, I've only been listening to Pat McAfee crusade for Matt Stafford to join the Colts for like a month now.
I think it's mainly because with me, I've been on a different side of I think Stafford's going to end up with the Niners, but
I think he's probably going to. There's a chance he stays now.
Because
hearing that speech, Campbell's talk out there. I mean,
I like him. He's a fighter. He's a team guy. He's smart. It's like, oh, maybe
toughest guy fucking around, man.
Maybe he does want to keep him, but like, that's the thing.
That's the only reason I say Fitzpatrick. If they're just going with the, we have a cheap option, who has shown the ability to be able to get us to a playoff position, and then who knows in the playoffs? All that matters is getting to the dance,
Yeah.
Anything can happen in the playoffs. One game could, you could see injuries, you could see weather, you could see whatever you see. Obviously not weather inside the dome in Indy, but if they're at some other location, duh. I think he's someone who a lot of teams who have what is your goal at the end of the day? Is your goal to get a franchise quarterback, or is your goal to get a guy who can be the mentor while you go out and draft like a third rounder? And you have someone groomed in the QB room behind Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, and I think the question that the Colts have to answer, and I feel like this question is easy, where basically the question is, how much do you put the precedence on we have to be in the race right now? We need the quarterback to put us in the playoff race to win a Super Bowl right now. Or could it be, hey, we've got some good pieces on this team. We can go ahead, get a guy like Fitzpatrick who will help us compete, but we can also draft well, because Ballard has done that. Ballard has been a guy running a team that has drafted well and hit on spots that you need to. It's weird seeing someone in the front office that actually knows how to do that.
I've got a question for you based off that, Ricky. Are there any quarterbacks? We've talked so much about the top 5/6 quarterbacks that'll be going in the first, we assume, 2 rounds. Is there anybody a little bit further back in that draft group who could be a guy who, with a little time, a little refinement, has shown the ability to maybe be a quarterback of the future?
The kid that I want to see, and I got to even see if he's declared yet, because I don't know if he was a junior or senior, but it's the kid out of Cincinnati. I got to look up his name because I'm not familiar with it off the top of my head. Desmond Ritter. He is a junior, I think. So yet again, if he declares, he was a redshirt junior. He was someone that caught a couple of games this year. If he was actually going to declare, obviously diving into his film would be needed. But that's the thing. The only real quarterbacks right now that people list, because right now we're getting all the guys that are deciding, do I commit, do I stay? For example, it's not the if del facto, but usually on a site like Tankathon, you see who's in the pool. It's the 5 we're talking about, and then Jamie Newman out of Wake Forest, who is 75th on their big board, to where it's there's not a lot. To me, there's not a lot of guys yet at this point that it's oh, I want to go ahead. Most of the people are oh, if I don't get one of these top 5, I'm looking to next year's draft class.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's always, nobody's going to be a stud with a later pick, but I'm saying developmental, could you look at an Ian Book out of Notre Dame and be there's a kid who I think if we polished up, he could grow into something special here. And again, it's a luxury to have a later round pick quarterback who doesn't need to, hopefully you can work with and get somewhere. It's not a throwaway pick. But it was just a thought I had when you brought up how well they've drafted in the past. Is there an opportunity where they could, do the mix and match of, a Tyrod who is, let's be honest, extremely gifted when it comes to setting your organization up for the franchise quarterback of the future. It's almost a guarantee at this point. He should take that as a sign of success. It's you sign me, you get your franchise quarterback. He is literally, it hurts me to say this reference, he is the good luck Chuck of Ricky. And it hurts me to say that. There's a reason why, but I'm not getting into that today.
Oh man, maybe in the future, for a Patreon video, Dave will tell that story.
Maybe, but no. But you know what I'm saying? You get a guy who can hold you over for a year, whether it is Fitzy, Tyrod, Cam Newton. Any one of those kind of guys who can give you a little bit of runtime. Will you develop someone, or do you think it's just we need a star or it's bust? Kind of a situation.
I don't think it's a star or bust. There's actually with
the names you're asking a trade for.
Yeah, I mean Ian Book.
I know. Yeah,
if you're looking for a later guy, and yet again, I don't know if he's committed or not, but I will say his name because he'll be in the draft if he commits. Is I like a Kellen Mond. I've always liked Kellen Mond out of Mississippi State. Or Texas A&M, one of the two, Texas A&M or Mississippi State. He's always been a guy that has reminded me a lot of like of the Dak Prescott, where SEC quarterback did well, to where I see going in a later
A&M.
round. A&M, that's what I thought. Like after I said Mississippi State, I'm like, ooh, I might be messing up my burgundies, burgundy and white. Costello, that was it. Costello used to be with Stanford, right? Yeah, Stanford, and then he went to Mississippi State. Fucking all these older quarterbacks that just move because of situations. But like Kellen Mond is someone that's like, the thing with Ian Book is I love the character. I love what's going on above the head. I just don't know if he's good at above the shoulders. Above the head, there's nothing.
The hair. I love the hair game.
My question with Ian Book is he good enough to be an NFL quarterback, like physically and stuff?
He played in a very well-run offense, and that's the thing is like how much.
Name the last Notre Dame quarterback that's been good, especially under Brian Kelly. You can't. Like that's the thing. There's just some of these guys where they're just college guys. I'm on the sense of if I'm the Colts, I need to win now. I don't need to wait because this defense is primed to win now. If T.Y. Hilton walks, then it's like drafting a wide receiver might help. There's a plethora of wide receivers in this draft, Dave. Like you don't have to get one in the first round in order to have yourself a good wide receiver. That's why it's like, what would that price be though? Because like I'm even looking up, I have an article here that's talking about like superstar, like they say superstar quarterbacks. And I'm trying to think the last time a really, really good starting caliber quarterback was traded. And my mind goes back to like Brett Favre, like the Brett Favre trade.
Past his prime, Brett Favre.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, even with the only reason I think about that is are people going to ask for that kind of an offer? Because with these quarterbacks like Wentz, and you bring up not really Watson because he's young enough, but like
he's a star. Watson's a fucking star. He's getting multiple firsts.
But like even Matt Ryan, it's like, okay, I don't want to give up a ton of draft picks because I'm taking out a ton of fucking salary cap. Like I'm taking in all this. Like to me, I think the no-brainer is Deshaun Watson. I go all in on Deshaun Watson. I don't care how many firsts I have to get because I feel like he can step in. He can do things similarly, if not better, than what Carson Wentz did when Frank Reich was in Philly. Yet again, we're going to talk about in a little bit, Frank Reich has to find himself a new offensive coordinator because his is going up to the city of brotherly love, or not brotherly love with the way they act, in order to coach the Eagles, to where it's like, I'm not banking on free agency and the draft if I'm the Colts. I'm going out and getting my guy, whether that's Stafford, whether that's Watson, hell, whether that's even Wentz, and Frank Reich wants a reunion of Wentz and himself.
No, it's a bold call, but at some point you do have to shove your chips all in. It's a move I wish the Bears had done in a different direction. We went for Nick Foles. Now, at the time, I was extremely enthused. I loved the idea because, again, former Super Bowl MVP, someone who has had a great amount of success being put under the gun. But when he looked at the situation and our offensive line, and you just knew, like, from an outside standpoint, you had to look at it like, oh, that is not going to end well.
No.
Like that offensive line cannot give him 3 seconds to stand upright. So Nick Foles is fucked out there. Like, I wish we had gone for someone different. You know, obviously Brady wasn't going to come to us because we're, cold, and he wanted to go somewhere, that loved him. And but I understand why the Colts should do this. I don't disagree that if you go all in on a quarterback like Watson or Wentz, it's a bad move at all. I think that's fine. Even Stafford, I love the idea. I just don't know if they're going to do that or if they're going to make a fucking bold call here and be like, hey, we got Tyrod. We got pick, 20, 21?
I think 20.
Let's go ahead and take a swing here at maybe Mac Jones or some shit like that. Who knows?
No, 21. You were right. The Bears are at 20.
Hey, I knew we were right there with them.
It's Washington, Bears, and then like Tankathon right now has them going Jalen Waddle at 21. That's a lot.
No way he'll be on the board still.
No way he gets past 15.
But do you think that is there any chance that they hit the NFL draft and they still haven't landed their quarterback? Would they go after someone, in that 4-5-6 range for QB?
I say yes, and the reason why I say that is mainly like here's my tier that I'm doing. The first thing on the list is I'm calling the Texans and I'm calling the Lions. I'm gauging what is the conversation for either Watson or Stafford. The only thing that changes that discussion is if free agency happens, Dak Prescott does not get signed to a long-year deal, he gets tagged, then I'm calling Jerry Jones. Hey, you got a quarterback with a big-ass contract, doesn't want to sign with you. What would it take to get him off your hands? I can give you draft capital. I can give you, like, that is the only thing that would be like a new challenger has appeared in the arena, Smash Bros. Style. If I can work out none of those trades, my next option is I am targeting Ryan Fitzmagic. That is what I'm doing. Like, you bring up Tyrod, and Tyrod's great, but the thing about Tyrod, too, is we don't know for sure. He had the punctured lung.
He was fine after like 2 weeks.
Okay.
He was literally fine after like 2 weeks. He recovered.
We never saw him again because Air Bear took the job from him.
Because Air Bear is fucking fantastic.
Yeah, like
that's Ricky. We went through the history of Tyrod Taylor and what came next for that team.
Yeah.
Just saying. As a Bears fan,
the good luck
I'm looking at Tyrod Taylor going, I want you to send some juju our way, you know?
Yeah, like Fitzpatrick would be the one I target. If he goes otherwhere, let's say Fitzpatrick's like, nah, I want to go play in Chicago. Then I would go Tyrod. Like the other ones, Dalton, Newton, Flacco, fucking touching them. Gotcha. Not touching them. Cam would be on the list if he didn't have the year that he had last year. Like Dalton played good for the Cowboys, but he's nothing for long term. It's just something to where like that's what I'm thinking. But if I am taking a free agent, it depends on, are you bringing Jacoby back, which I don't think they are.
It doesn't seem like they are.
Which then I'm drafting, and I would not be afraid to trade up if you like someone. Don't be afraid to do what the Chiefs did. Remember the Chiefs. They have Alex Smith. Why did they trade up for Patrick Mahomes? Now they've got the best quarterback in the league. Well, until Aaron Rodgers retires and Tom Brady. More so Aaron Rodgers.
No. Tom Brady's the GOAT. Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback playing right now.
Yeah. And then again, we got to find out what they're going to do, a coordinator as well.
That's true. Thunder Gecko brings up. We will have to wait and see because
the next thing, their OC, I'm going to screw up this name, Shane O'Mac, who is Thunder Gecko, can help me out here. The Eagles hired Nick Sirianni. I hope I said that right. Sirianni. You're right. It has an A in there, but maybe that's our Chicago. The long A, the Sirianni. Nick Sirianni. Sirianni. But I mean,
we're getting murdered for this on YouTube.
Basically, he's the new OC, or the new head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, city of brotherly love. This is something, Dave, that my biggest question with this is not a fact of, hey, what does this mean for the Eagles? What does this mean for the Eagles? They have a head coach. That's what that means. My big question is, what does this mean for Carson Wentz? Does this mean Wentz is staying? Does this mean Wentz is going? Like, this is something to where the quarterbacks that he's worked on, so he's with the Chargers from basically 2014 to 2017, where he was the QB coach for 2 years and then the wide receiver coach. Under that time, Phillip Rivers was the quarterback of the San Diego and then Los Angeles Chargers. Then he became the Colts OC in 2018. He spent 3 seasons there. In those seasons, he's had Andrew Luck, a middle season of Jacoby Brissett and Brian Hoyer for a game, and then this past year with Phillip Rivers. Really no connection to Carson Wentz. Like, there's a part of me that goes, is this just the Eagles saying, hey, you worked with Frank Reich. Reich worked really well with Carson Wentz. We know we're probably not going to be able to trade Wentz. Oh, we'll hire you.
And you worked well with Phillip Rivers. Great passer. So system just absolutely knows what he's doing. I think that's the thing, is he's got the respect from working with the right people, the right quarterback, like you said, Frank Reich over there. So it all kind of plays together. Sirianni.
Okay. Nick Sirianni. Gonna put the Chicago accent on anyway.
Yeah,
Sorry, Annie.
You know what? If you go that hard on the Chicago side, no one can be like, "Well, they're wrong." Like, no, it's just Chicago pronunciation.
Just Chicago assholes being assholes. But like,
yeah, I think that's the thing. Is just hey, he's been around the right people. Mm-hmm. I still think this Eagles franchise wants to have Carson Wentz as their quarterback, as the guy, and that's why Doug got the boot, was because Doug was like, "I'll take Jalen." Like he's like, "I can win with Jalen Hurts. I like Jalen Hurts. Y'all need to figure out how to get rid of Carson Wentz." Like, we really see dollar signs attached to Carson Wentz still, so you're gonna need to win with Carson Wentz. Like, I think that's why. That was one of the big reasons that split up this Eagles coaching staff previously. So I do see Carson Wentz likely staying on this team, and Nick will have the challenge of figuring out how to get them back on the right page, get them back on track. And again, I mention every time we talk Eagles, they were out 3 offensive linemen last year. So we will have to see, obviously, a fully healthy Eagles front offensive line plus draft. What will they be able to do to put weapons around Carson Wentz if they do continue in that direction, like I assume?
Here's another question I have, Dave, and I haven't seen anything from Shefty or the Blog Boys to say if this happened or not. Do you think, based off interviews, that Sirianni was the ifdo facto, like, this is our guy, and he blew them away? Or what I'm kind of thinking that happened, and sorry for Sirianni fans, I kind of think that they were all ready to offer Josh McDaniels the job. And Josh McDaniels, behind closed doors this time, was like, no, I don't want to take it. And then, boom, they immediately offered it to their next that they had. Like, the way I'm going to predict that it happened is, okay, we're going to offer McDaniels, but if he doesn't go, we have our guy lined up that we're going to offer as well. Probably called McDaniels, hey, we need an answer from you. I'm assuming McDaniels, because the whole thing we talked about with him was, does he want to leave New England for this job? Does he think he's got the golden goose to be their coach? I would assume he said, no, I can't give you an answer right now, which was basically a no. And then, boom, they offered to Sirianni, who then took the job in a heartbeat. Like, yeah.
I think that's halfway likely. The other guy, who had been thrown around this whole off-season, start of the coaching hunt, would be Dabble, who came out and was like, I'm staying. Just not interested in going anywhere else. I think that was a big thing, because we looked at a lot of teams who were like, well, are they waiting on him? And then everything started to get filled, and he was still like, I get it, his team's still playing, but he still could have, made arrangements.
Correct me if I'm wrong. He didn't say that until after the Chargers job was filled, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't come out publicly.
I
think behind closed doors, it was a known thing, because listening to Rappaport and one of the NFL.com guys.
Pelissero rhymes with arrow, Dave?
Nope, not him. One of the NFL.com guys had talked about, like, some kind of cryptic shit that's like, we haven't heard much from him as far as leaving, or interviewing at multiple opportunities like this offseason yet. And it was like, I don't think he's going anywhere. I think this is a situation where he's staying home, and he is. So I think that as good as his prospects were, and obviously Bieniemy's, if they wanted to, I don't know what they said. I don't know what Bieniemy said in fucking interviews. Hey, he's just fucking with people.
He's got to get
like the guy who's like, I love what I do here. I love working with Andy Reid. This guy's fucking great. We're winning Super Bowls year in, year out with Patty Mahomes up here. Why would I ever leave? I'm just going to go interview to interview and fuck around. Like,
I mean, I don't know. He's got to get the Texan job, right? Like,
I don't know.
Question mark? Like, I don't like, at this point, it's the only job left too. Like,
it is the only job left, which is scary, but I don't know if he signs anywhere.
It's been interesting how this offseason has gone, where it seems like we had the flurry, boom, 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 basically the pre-flurry of Urban Meyer to the Jaguars. That's probably going to happen. Worst kept secret in the NFL. Kurt Herbstreit even kind of referenced to it in the national championship game, where he made that comment of like,
already know him by then, so that's fine.
He's just sitting there and he goes, I really want to elaborate on this, but I really can't until until more things come out about it. It's like, really, just fucking say it. He's a Jaguar.
He already had the contract and the terms leaked basically a week in advance.
Yeah,
I get it.
Trying to be professional. Yeah, it's just after all that happened, then the Eagles, it's like, oh, is they going to go McDaniels? Now they go with Sirianni. It's just I'm wanting to bring it back to the Dabble thing, just to close that of after the Chargers were done, Eagles being one of them, was the Eagles or the Texans a favorable job? No. And that's why I feel like a guy like McDaniels didn't come to the Eagles, and why I feel like he said no, because right now the Eagles are kind of in a shit show where it's like you fired your you said you're going to keep your coach, you fired your coach, you tried to get your guy, maybe didn't get your guy, and now you get Sirianni. I know Shane O'Mac saying that he was a huge part of the passing success, and a very smart offensive mind. Let's hope he brings that success to the Eagles, because if Carson Wentz can get going, like yet again, they got to figure out what they're going to do with Zach Ertz. They've got wide receivers, not Alshon or Deshaun Jackson on this team, that can ball out. It's just depending on what are you going to do with this team. Is this offense fixable, or is it we need all brand new pieces?
Oh, they should consider actual NFL caliber wide receivers. That would be a nice idea.
Not guys that are injured every day, Dave?
You know what? I think your starting wide receiver, your number 2 wide receiver, and your number 3 wide receiver were all out with injuries, and then your number 4 wide receiver also got injured. You might have a problem passing the ball down the fucking field. They need skill position talent. Mm-hmm. Say that out loud. Say it over and over and over and over and over. Yeah. And if they don't draft and address it in this offseason, then everyone knows why they didn't land a bigger name. Mm-hmm. I think that Nick is a good guy. I think that he deserves an opportunity to be a head coach. But you're right. This wasn't one of the top-tier jobs in coaching opportunities this offseason.
And I'll be honest, after Dan Campbell's presser today, he's got some big shoes to follow, Dave.
Dan fucking Campbell.
I want you to rant on this a little bit before we go into Wet Boys.
We missed out. Okay, Ricky and I were talking, and I told him.
I just want your thoughts on the presser, Dave.
I'm going to tell the whole fucking story.
Okay, go ahead.
Ricky and I are sitting here talking pre-show, shooting the shit a little. And I'm like, we should be live for this. He's like, yeah, whatever. And we're talking about Dan Campbell's presser being fucking epic. And if you guys haven't seen Dan Campbell's presser, his intro to "I'm your new head coach of the Detroit fucking Lions."
Didn't say the F word, Dave, but he said the S word.
Well, he didn't say the F word. You're right, but he wanted to. He wanted to. Trust me, I know that guy.
He's a dear friend of mine, Dave.
dear friend of mine. It was just awesome. He is the dudest of dudes. Mm-hmm. He's so real. He's so down to earth, and he is the guy who everybody talked him up as like, oh yeah, this is a guy who's a culture guy. He's a culture guy. He's not X's and O's guys per se, but he's the guy your team wants to run through a brick wall for. And I was like, that's very nice, and I think that'll work out well for them. And then I listened to him talk, and I was like, I'm gonna run through a brick wall for this guy. Like, count me fucking in. I absolutely love this shit from him. The honesty, the brutal references, everything about what he brought to that press conference was a ton of fun. I love what he could be for Detroit in like a rebirth of this team going forward. New mantra, new fucking energy to this team. I love it. I think Dan Campbell, I'm excited. I don't think they're going to be great real quick. I think this is a team, and he's fully aware, is rebuilding from scratch. But they will be awesome to watch, and I can't wait. I'm a fucking bookmark anytime that he comes out, like all his post-game conferences, I'm fucking watching that. I'm going to watch the questions that come in there.
So I'm going to throw this live out on the show. You know what we should do, Dave? I know we're based in Chicago, but should we email the Lions to see if during next season, you know how McAfee has Aaron Rodgers Tuesdays? Can we get Dan Campbell Tuesdays, Dave?
I'm pretty sure we're not going to be able to swing that. You can try. I will not stop. Hey,
what's the worst they can say? No?
Definitely just going to ignore us. I'm not even going to say no.
I mean, that's also an option. But hey, if we got Dan Campbell Tuesdays,
like, what's the worst they can say? No, they can go to you.
I mean, they can ghost you, but that's pretty much saying no without actually saying no.
That hurts right here.
You just move on, Dave. You just move on. Should I even say what got you going, Dave?
Yeah,
Dan
go ahead
Campbell,
and share with the fans.
Where
I fucking bothered before the show.
Like you, love the press conference, love the energy he got. Two things about it is, one, I love the Pat McAfeeism where he goes, yeah, and if there's not something I like, we'll definitely talk about it. We will hit that. I will make sure the guys are on the same page.
Did you like the nickname DCMC?
No, I liked when we're gonna call him the Dude because the Dude Lebowski.
Well, it is, yeah. It's head coach / the Dude.
Yeah.
For his official nameplate, but yeah.
But where does M's? Oh, because Matt Campbell. That's right. Is that the DCMC? Dan Campbell, Matt Campbell? Because he made the joke about how, like, I think I got the job because I told my agent to tell him I'm Matt Campbell, not Dan Campbell.
Motor City. Okay. Yeah,
that's right. DCMC.
Dan Campbell, Motor City.
Yeah.
DCMC.
The other thing I loved is when he's like, this is going to be a team that you knock us down, we're going to get back up twice as hard, and then you're going to hit us. You need to hit us twice as hard to knock us down, but then we're going to get up 3 times as hard, and you're going to have to knock us down.
We're going to fight your kneecaps off.
At that part, I'm thinking, just say 33rd and a third chance. Please say it. I need some Steiner math, Dave, because that's what he sounded like.
He is
Green Bay, you have a 33rd and a third chance of winning the division. I got a 66 and third chance of winning. The Bears got a 33rd and a third chance of winning. That means I got a 99.9% chance of winning the division this year. That's all I needed because he sounded like it just reminded me of Steiner math, Dave.
Yeah.
Although he's not as dumb as what Steiner math was.
If I'm a fucking Lions fan, if I'm Soaps, I know you don't watch a ton of football. Yeah. But this is the perfect time to get in.
And football, Soapy's a Ravens fan in football.
Yeah. Well, he should look at the the location closest to him, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Hey, someone said about me, I'm a Vikings fan here in Chicago.
You got dropped on your head as a kid. I can't blame you.
Whoa, never dropped on my head as a kid. My parents were very good to me. Now I cut my finger on a air vent and had to go to the hospital for a Band-Aid. That did happen when I was an infant, but never dropped on my head. But Dave, let's go into the
in there right now.
Yeah. Let's go into the dampest of dudes, soggiest of shooters, moistest of men, sometimes the mistiest of misses. These are our wet boys, players of the day from the day prior, guys or girls that we want to give love to. How it works is Dave gives a wet boy, I give a wet boy, and then the patrons at patreon.com/MVPvid silver and above get to vote on a wet boy as well. Dave, I'll kick it off to you. No further ado. Who's your wet boy? January 21st, 2021.
I mean, there were a bunch of options last night. There was a game of the night that literally was just everything now. And how the fans did not vote for this man, I understand because we've got some fucking homers in Philly. Mm-hmm. But Cleveland, Brooklyn brought the fucking heat. That game was a banger.
Yeah.
Like, we had Kyrie return, Harden and KD out there playing for a fucking game and a half for it, basically. Meanwhile, the goddamn fucking Cleveland Cavaliers, a name that you don't even assume could win a game against those 3 men alone. Fuck the other 2 guys who happen to share the court with Kyrie, KD, and James Harden. Like, it could literally be 3 on fucking 8, and I would still probably pick Brooklyn. Cleveland had no business being in this game.
Mm-hmm.
None. Fucking Colin Sexton's out there running amok. Colin Sexton
running amok.
Remember when Colin Sexton won a game, or not won, fought through a game 3 on 5?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
I remember that in college. Yeah,
the Colin Sexton college moment. Like, that's what this felt like. He could not miss a shot down the line. Like, it was a double OT game. Yeah. It had fucking everything. Yeah, Jake, what the shit is wrong with you? I don't know why you would vote for anyone but Colin Sexton. He's one half of the best backcourt name in NBA history, Sexland. Like, this man is honestly, like, I always say he gets slept on because he's a 6'1" shooting guard.
Plays for Cleveland.
Who's in Cleveland. Yeah. His defense, questionable. He can't really facilitate too great most nights. But same time, like, dudes, he's gotten better every single year. And that's the one thing, like, I don't think anyone saw him hitting the point where he's at now already in his career. Like, this is year 3, and I think right now he's averaging like 27. I know this game helped him out a little bit on that average, but he jumped up a lot. And I think a lot of people are starting to take notice that Darius Garland's progression from year 1 to year 2 is dramatic. Colin Sexton, you're 1-2, 2-3 now. Dramatic. I think Cleveland's got something going over there, and I'm liking what I see.
Dave, Jake even says it, didn't even waste his vote. He knew that you were going to go with Sexton, which is weird because Dave thought the patrons were going to go with Sexton.
I assumed the Patriots would have given him. Yeah. Scotty did awesome. Fucking KD did amazing. Kyrie had a fucking great game. Jared Allen had the revenge win. I mean, technically Taurean Prince did too, but like he not really. Whatever. Taurean Prince. Nobody really gives a shit.
So, Dave, for my wet boy, I actually have a show and tell for my wet boy. I have a clip. I have a clip that I want to show. Because my wet boy had himself a fucking moment last night that I just want to play this clip for everyone out there.
Is this a 3-point shot?
This is a 3-point shot. I had this muted so I didn't have it playing over you talking, but yeah, just enjoy my wet boy doing good things.
Rebounded by Anthony.
I thought about this one.
2 seconds left. Anthony for the win. Got it.
Yeah.
Cole Anthony gives the Magic a victory.
I mean, it was pretty magical.
Just one more time. Just one more time. Just let me indulge.
Anthony for the win.
Because the whole reason I'm taking Cole Anthony, Dave, is because I found it ironic that we graded the rookies yesterday. We did Cole Anthony. I was like, you know what? Incomplete. I got to see more out of him. Dave was like, here's my grade. And it was, what, a C did you give him? Or a D? I couldn't remember. I gave him a C. But basically it was a kind of a slander of a grade, Dave. Kind of slandering Cole.
Was it?
Sounded like
someone who is a 6'1" athletic point guard who can't facilitate and shoots incredibly inconsistently exactly what he is.
I just found
is that wrong in any respects? No.
I just found it ironic.
I cannot tell a lie there. That all of those things are accurate.
Throwing shade at Cole Anthony, and then he comes out and hits a game winner. Yeah, he only had 13 points, but he hit a fucking game winner and went 3 of 3 from beyond the arc.
Gold star for your one game of the year there, Chief.
This kid is going to be something special.
He assisted 3 turnovers, by the way.
What?
I think he also had 3 turnovers. Like, I think he's a 1-to-1 assisted turnover kind of guy. I'm not trying to take down your wet boy. I'm just trying to say that don't think just
I don't know,
one
Dave. My wet boys have been taken down in the past, so it's okay.
True. Big true. I'm just saying, just don't think that one good game makes up for the fact that the whole year has happened, and I know we're a quarter of the way through the year.
I'm just saying, like, in the future, I'm not saying this year, but in the future, he's going to be something special. And Orlando Magic fans should be happy.
Is he the successor to the supernova of offense? Perhaps.
Maybe. I mean, fuck, the supernova of offense last night. I thought he was going to have a way. Like, here's what I thought, Dave. In my parlay, I'm like, oh, no way fucking Terrence Ross has less than 18 points, Dave. He's going up against the Minnesota Timberwolves, Dave. Yeah. They don't know how to play defense out there. And then he can't hit the broadside of a goddamn barn, Dave.
You know who else I'm going to shout out?
Who?
McDaniels had a great game for Minnesota. He's someone who I was like, anybody else think that they got the better pick in the first round with McDaniels over Anthony Edwards? Anybody else looking at that being like, who's the better prospect here?
Definitely ain't Anthony Bennett, Dave. It definitely ain't him.
Oh, I'm sorry. Anthony Bennett, according to you.
Bennett, because he's a bust, Dave. But the patrons, they went with an obvious pick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Dave. Sixers, Joel Embiid. 42 points in a win over the Boston Celtics. Ben, cover your ears. JD, cover your ears. You might not want to hear this. To me, the most interesting part of this, Dave, is the whole back and forth it seemed between Embiid and Marcus Smart about how Joel Embiid fucking goes in, flails a little bit. No, he gets a foul, no problem. That's probably why he went to the line for 21 foul shots.
Well, that happens when you get tripled by a bunch of 6'5" guys out there because the Celtics don't have a fucking center who can defend Joel Embiid.
JD, would you look at those free throw attempts? Would you look at them?
When you try to triple team a 7'1" legit big man who is stronger, bigger, faster. Oh, Jake, I love the shit talk. I gotta minimize that. When you do that, you're gonna foul him. The refs are gonna give it to him because you got 3 guys trying to fucking cover him up. Keep the arms down. Don't let him get the shot, up. So, look, Joel Embiid is basically unfucking stoppable. It's what we want to see out of Joel Embiid. I love it. I love that the Sixers are leaning into their strength instead of trying to force Ben Simmons to figure out how to play offense.
Yeah.
Nah, fuck it. He can't shoot the ball. He won't shoot the ball. Whichever it is, it doesn't matter anymore. We run our offense by getting Joel Embiid the ball and letting him dominate other teams because he's fucking unstoppable right now. So I love it. I'm okay with the pick. I'm just, I thought Sexton would have got for the game of the night.
Yeah. And Dave, we are going to move into NBA talk now. But before we do, let's talk about today's sponsor of the show, Manscaped. Dave, the team we're going to talk about is the Brooklyn Nets. And if you are a man at home right now, or you might be listening to us in your car, the one thing you do not want your balls to look like, Dave, is James Harden's beard. He had it going last night, but you definitely don't want your family jewels to look like they are James Harden's chin. Looks good on the chin of James Harden, does not look good on your balls. And support for MVP Sports Live is brought to us by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped is trusted by over 2 million men worldwide. Join the movement for all your below-the-waist grooming needs. Right now, our fans can go to manscaped.com, get 20% off and free shipping with the code MVP at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping. You get 2 for 1, folks, 2 for 1 at manscaped.com. Use the code MVP. Obviously, your balls will thank you because James Harden's a good basketball player, but you don't want your balls looking like his chin, Dave.
Yeah, that was wonderful. That was wonderful, Rick.
Dave's like, great, move on.
I had to mute myself because I was laughing.
We will move on if I can find the right one. And bingo, Cavs and Nets, Dave. It's overreaction Thursday, Dave. The Nets, they get Kyrie back. KD and Harden have looked so good. They just beat the Bucks in a last-second shot kind of a game with KD. They're getting Kyrie back. They should blow out the Cavs, Dave. You talked about Sexland. He went off. Well Sexton went off. Sex went off. Land did not.
Back soon.
But the Cavs won, Dave.
Yeah.
They won. This was with the big three out there, Dave. This was the team that's the best in the East right now. Dave, should the Nets be worried that they can't get it done with KD, Kyrie, and Harden after losing to the Nets last night?
Nope. If I had to elaborate,
I would love it. That's what we do.
It's one game in January.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fairly sure that Kyrie Irving's first game back, where he just decided that, hey, I'm gonna just prove all the haters wrong. Fuck them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go out here. I'm gonna get mine. I'm not Alfred. That fucking comment was so overplayed. He's not Batman. He's not even Robin. He's Alfred. Like, okay, I will give you the credit. I'm a fucking comic fan. That was funny. But it was also incredibly insulting.
Mm-hmm.
It was incredibly insulting. So I think that we all know the problems with this Nets team. They're going to be buyers when it comes to the buyout market.
Mm-hmm.
And I still don't think they're done with this roster. So I do look forward to seeing them finish up, building this roster and working out the kinks of it. But this is still very much a team where they got some holes to fill.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, they're going to be very good. But it took a heroic effort out of young Bull over there in Cleveland to take them out. So I'm not too concerned with this one game.
Yeah, I'm going to go on the other side where I have a little worry after this. Like, yes, you're right. Sexton doesn't go off.
The former MVP,
mm-hmm.
3-time scoring champion,
mm-hmm.
and player on a 73-9 team.
Yeah.
Also, the 3-time top MVP voting, 1-time MVP. Scoring champion, triple-double for a season. Also, Kyrie Irving, former champion. Guy who can put up, tightest handles in the fucking game.
Mm-hmm.
Scores incredibly efficiently.
Mm-hmm.
Clutch a shooter in fucking basketball. Yeah, you know what? Those 3 guys, I don't feel so great about my team either.
Well,
you don't have anyone even as good as one of them.
They have 3. Here's the thing I worry about, Dave, is... Yes, it's one game. There's a reason why in the title I put overreaction to what we're doing. But
I know. I can't, though.
It's just, to me, I look at it and I go, if a team like Cleveland, who is not a good team, Colin Sexton is good, but this should have been an easy win for the Nets, especially with Kyrie coming back. I think about in a series, a best-of-7 series, when you're going up against guys who can put 40 on you, like Joel Embiid against the Sixers, like Sixers Nets, he could put 40 on you. You're telling me he puts 40 up? Shake and Maxey put 20 up. Boom. Sixers can win that series if they get those numbers. You've got Boston. They've got guys like Jaylen Brown, who can put up those numbers if they want to. I don't have that much confidence that I do in them in Embiid right now. And then you have Giannis. Like, the only thing holding Giannis and the Bucks back is they just got to prove they can't choke in the playoffs. Like, they're just choke artists in the playoffs. That's the only reason why I wouldn't worry. Like,
Kyrie's reputation in the playoffs.
Hitting some big shots, but yet again had LeBron James on that.
How's Kevin Durant's reputation in the playoffs?
Yet again, he couldn't win, so he went and joined the Golden State Warriors, Dave.
So when surrounded by talent, he was the most talented player.
And then James Harden can't hit he hits threes, but then can't hit threes in the biggest moments.
Right, so that's why they got Kyrie.
I'm just saying.
They got the guy who can run the offense. They got the guy who can score better than everyone else, and then they got the guy who can finish the game.
I'm just saying, it shouldn't just be coincidence that, hey, Kyrie comes back, and then things don't go as planned, Dave.
I know what you're trying to do. I know you're trying to fuck with me. I know it's an overreaction.
I'm just saying there should be a little bit of worry here. Like, and yet again, can this be fixed? Yes, Dave, it could be fixed. I'm not saying blow up the team.
How do you fix this? How do you fix this one? I'm gonna just kick the legs up.
For me, how I fix it is basically like the entire game. When you say Kyrie proved I'm gonna get mine, that is not going to be the best thing for this team. In my mind, I feel like Kevin Durant and James Harden, I loved what I saw from them in the Bucks game. In the I can't remember who they played before the Bucks. Let's see, that would have been Monday night, Sunday night. Basically the two games we saw with Harden and Durant, I loved what they could do out there. It's just going to take them getting familiar to now adding Kyrie out there. Is it fixable? Yes. It's just play games. You get familiar with the three of them out there. They will fix this fine. A little bit of me is just trying to be an edgelord of if it took, like I said, Colin Sexton to get 40 points, you don't think Joel Embiid could do that? Like, yet again, I know best of 7 series, you got to then do that 4 times theoretically. But to my point and what I'm thinking of is I don't know if the Nets, they are my favorite in the East. I don't know if it's a slam dunk like people think. It is highly likely to happen that they go to the finals, but I don't think it is a slam dunk. And yes, that is probably me overreacting to one game against the Cavs.
Do you think Joe Harris will also shoot 20% in that game too?
Don't know. Depends
on
that
series, I should say.
Depends on who they're like. That's the thing with Philly and Boston. I would say, especially Boston, they might have someone defensively that can play good defense against Joe Harris.
Their fourth option.
Because let's see, you're gonna put Marcus Smart on either Harden or Kyrie. I was gonna say Kyrie, but then you're putting Jaylen Brown on Durant or Tatum on Durant.
Tatum, Durant, Jaylen Brown on Harden.
I mean,
you might go hard. You could swap Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown, but I think the physicality of someone like Jaylen Brown against Harden probably matches up better.
Yeah,
I think Marcus Smart has quicker hands to get in there and fuck with Kyrie. But that's just my take. So take your lead, Celtics fans.
So I'll take that step back. Maybe not Boston, but like, what about Philly? Like, you put Ben on Durant because obviously the size thing. Even though Ben's a point guard, but the size. Thibault is guarding either Harden or Kyrie?
Thibault hasn't been getting minutes anymore.
Good point. You're right. Fucking Doc.
You got to think about Seth Curry's going to be out there, so they got a gunner, so you can abuse that setup.
Yeah. I mean...
Again, that's the problem. They match up so well with so many teams. Kemba's back. You must not be watching lately, fucking Ben. Kemba's got I got a hate boner for Kemba.
Can I ask you, because this was brought up in the watch along, have you ever said why you hate Kemba Walker? Because somebody asked me, I think it was Tim, and I could not. I'm like, I don't even know the fucking answer to that. I just know he hates fucking Kemba Walker.
Yeah, it was a couple things that added up slowly towards the hate. One was the fact that he thought he was worth a max contract. And the people clowned on Charlotte for not giving it to him. 2 was the fact that during the regular season, it was the constant the blog boy overpouring love. We're such a better team with Kemba Walker. Kyrie Irving's such a terrible human being. All this shit out there. And 3, the injuries. 4, the fact that he was the biggest scumbag in the playoffs. He played like Marcus Smart on steroids with the acting, the flopping, the dirty plays. He is such a dirty player on the court. It makes me so mad because the refs don't call it because he still has somehow a squeaky clean fucking reputation around out there. Like, he is an actual scumbag on the floor. You watch him during the games. Look at the last fucking 2 series in the playoffs that he played in. I don't know how you can not hate him if you're not from the city of Boston. Like, he gives off the Mike Dunleavy vibes. Like, he's a dirty fucking player. And he's not worth his fucking contract. And he's injury prone.
Yeah.
He's got degenerative knees. Whatever. Same thing as injury prone, I guess, technically. But like.
So now I know it's on the tape officially because, like I said, I'm pretty sure it was Tim asked me.
Yeah, it was the playoffs that really set me over the edge, Ricky.
I was
flipping the fuck out live in our watch along channel.
Yeah.
As he flopped around the court like a jackass, and then committed multiple fouls that only about a quarter of were actually called because the refs were fucking blind.
And to go back to the original, because like I'm glad that's on tape now. I could refer to this.
Anytime refresh, I'm happy to provide.
Realistically, Nets fans are going to get mad at me for this, but like. No, there's no worry with the Nets, but yet again, there's a part of me that does want to overreact and say yes. Just because I think if this big 3 does fail, Kyrie's the linchpin to me. Only because of how well I've seen. Like, if it was just Durant and Harden, I'd be confident in this fucking team, Dave. I would still be confident in this team because of how well Harden and Durant work together. It's kind of like they have a chemistry already, Dave.
They might have played together before. It's kind of weird. Someone might have to look that up for
Blue
us.
Jerseys, I think I remember that, kind of like my shirt. As the season goes on, Kyrie and the group will get more familiar with each other. Plus, it's like, it seems like Kevin Durant has played well with Kyrie. He's played well with Harden now. They just need to all play well together. And the only question I have is them in the playoffs against a team like the Sixers or a team like the Celtics, because they have guys that can pop off. Does this just become the way you beat the Nets is you just pour on the offense? You pour on the offense, you try to slow around someone. Yeah, and Joel Embiid. Like, they have the Sixers are the team I look at right now, that's
the matchup I want to see happen in the regular season, so we can kind of get an idea of how are they going to play that? Are we going to see heavy minutes for DeAndre Jordan? Because he hasn't played heavy minutes all season, so be very curious to know how they decide to play that up.
Let's see when that matchup actually happens. So the next few games for the Nets in January are they'll play Cleveland again tomorrow, then Miami, Atlanta, OKC, and then maybe Washington on the 31st, or maybe Washington will just have all its games canceled this year.
We don't even get to see a game
until February 6th.
Yeah, I say literally we get one game. Yeah. And then second half of the season, they must play each other. So we got to wait for that second half release schedule. That is what the NBA is still holding on to.
And the only playoff teams they play the rest of the way are the Clippers twice, the Lakers once, the Sixers once. And I thought there was one more.
The Heat, technically.
Yeah, I don't count the Heat as a play. I'm talking about like top of the playoff, like for sure playoffs, not like. I'm talking like the Sixers, the Celtics, like those kind of teams.
They get the Mavs down the road at the end of February, which by then, fully healthy Mavs team.
Maybe. Like they just got their guys back from protocol. Dave, because of time, we're going to take the Patriot reader mail or listener mail. We're going to push it to tomorrow. However, I do want to end the show with asking you one quick thing. Because my jaw dropped during that Nets segment. Because... There's a little asinine thing that I want you to rant about really quick.
What's that?
I'm gonna put it up for everyone to see because Dave, this is truly asinine in my mind. Because you and I know how we feel about this.
What was that? It was asinine, asa 10, asa 11.
This is asa 12, Dave. I'm just gonna put that up. Let that sink in, Dave. Let this sink in a little bit. How?
Oh, that is...
How, Dave? Like, I saw this and I was like, say what?
Hang on. Can you go new tab and let's pull up... What's another reputable draft site?
Is NBA DraftNet?
They're notoriously terrible.
Yeah, that's what,
But
that's what I thought.
Anyway, fuck it. Even if they should, like, I give them credit. They shouldn't get this wrong.
Rankings.
They did it too.
Yep. They got Cade 4th. What the fuck?
They're bad when they got Cade 4th.
I mean, we haven't even seen Kuminga play yet.
We've seen practice match highlights.
Dave, I saw this and I was like, how in ESPN you've got a...
Yeah, they still got Cade first, thankfully.
CBS?
This is insane.
Oh, that was last year's. Okay. I'm like, yeah, that's right. LaMelo Ball, number 1. But yeah, I saw this and I was like, how? Like,
I don't know what people are watching if they think that Jalen Suggs is a better prospect than Cade Cunningham.
One's got a better team, Dave.
Point at the wall, Ricky. I told y'all for fucking months now. Cade Cunningham's name was on the wall. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's ridiculous. And remember when we were talking about, like, I think it was about a year ago.
Yeah.
Might have been a solid year ago. It was like, name the top players you'd start a franchise with, like top 10.
Yeah.
Cade Cunningham was in my list. Mm-hmm. Remember that? Yeah, Sean was still on the show then.
I do.
And he's like, really? That. And I was like, yeah, Cade Cunningham's on my list.
You're like, yeah, I would.
Like, he's like, he asked, I think he tossed out, who's the kid who's like a junior in high school right now?
Oh, Chet.
No, Chet's a senior.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
It's the guy who's a year younger. They matched up in a great matchup. It's the number 1 for the year before that.
Oh, Amoni Bates.
Amoni Bates, yeah. Oh, maybe I did put Amoni there. You know what? It might have been Amoni Bates, but Chet was right there.
No, I thought Amoni was the senior and Chet was the junior.
Junior? Whatever the order is.
Because I thought the big reason was it's like, oh my God, Chet is Amoni's daddy because Chet's younger than Amoni. Like that was the big thing. I could be wrong.
I'm looking it up.
But like Chet fucking cooked Amoni Bates. Fucking cooked him.
Chet is 22. Amoni's 23.
Yeah, so I thought Amoni was the older one.
No, Amoni's the younger one.
You said Amoni 23, Chet 22. Oh, yeah. Class. I'm like age. Why would he be 23 and 22 in high school?
Yeah, I don't know that. Okay. I'm gonna answer.
So then, yeah, Chet is older. I was thinking age, not draft.
But yeah, no, I mean, like it's just these guys are so clear cut, far ahead of people. It's not even funny, and I get it. Suggs is playing well on a really good team in college basketball.
Yeah.
Cade Cunningham is playing well on a really fucking bad team that has no right being anywhere near as good as they are. Yeah. So I can't understand right now what would make people want to be like, yeah, Jalen Suggs, number 1 overall. Mm-hmm. I can't fucking do it. I won't do it. I won't have the entire season unless I see Jalen Green drop 35 a night in the G League in February. Mm-hmm. Or if I see my boy Jalen Johnson average like 25, 12, and 5, and 5, and 5.
Yeah.
Like, it would take dumb stats to surpass what we've seen out of Cade Cunningham.
Yeah. I just wanted to show you because I saw it during that segment. I was like,
that boils the blood, little Ricky.
That is asinine.
You poked me with a stick to start the show, and then you just lit me on fire at the end. You're like, hey, on the way out, just so you know. Fuck you.
Fuck you. But that is going to do it for MVP Sports Live today. Remember, join the Discord if you haven't already. Link down below, ! Discord into Twitch chat. Get you that link. If you would like to support us, patreon.com/MVPvids is how you can do that. You can also throw us a sub or your Prime Gaming. Add us on Twitch and get rewarded like bronze patrons do. We're on Twitch every Monday through Friday. Twitch.tv/MVPvids. We're also on YouTube at MVP Sports. Also, thank you to today's sponsor, Manscaped. Forgot to do that during the ad read. Had to do my obligatory, kind of, you get to hear it hum a little bit. But thank you to Manscaped. Remember, 20% off and free shipping using the code MVP at manscaped.com. Dave and I will be back tomorrow to talk more sports. We got football games on the docket, Dave. It is football
Friday.
Half football Friday because, like, depends on what the news is beforehand.
True. I mean, we are literally down to the final 3 games of the year, Ricky.
Final 3. It's a final countdown.
We've got the youth versus the fucking goats.
Yeah, I've got questions for you tomorrow. I'm not going to ask you now because I can't wait to ask them tomorrow and maybe get your blood boiling because usually those questions do get your blood boiling. But that's going to do it for us. We'll be back tomorrow. Thank you guys for being as awesome as you always are. And as always, have a good day, everybody.
WPN.